volume and complexity of customer data generated by businesses today is huge, and analyzing it is beyond the capabilities of many tools. Analyzing customer data at the transaction level is often just too much to handle, so you're often forced to aggregate data at a higher level, losing that rich detail. Even at this level, it takes time to get your data from your data science or IT teams, so that you can't be as responsive as you need to be. Polymatica has been designed from the ground up to let you do data discovery in real time on your desktop on huge amounts of data. Traditionally, you had to get your IT or data science team to export data, often aggregated, to rigid specifications. If it turns out to be not quite the right shape for your analysis, you need to go back to that team, losing valuable time. But Polymatica's unique multisphere technology gives you a fluid, flexible data container that lets you change the data shape, manipulate it, even calculate new measures and do detailed analytics on your desktop without needing a data scientist involved. A multisphere can pull in data from any data source and lets you work with your whole data set, not just a small slice of pre-aggregated data like many other tools. Let's take a look at what Polymatica can do with your data. On this demo box, I've got a bunch of data sets that I've imported from different data sources, things like Postgres, Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, even Excel. We'll start by looking at a database of bank customer card transactions. This is a dataset containing 26 million rows of customer card payment transactions. When we open the dataset, we see down the left-hand side the available dimensions, which are things I can group by, and also the facts or measures that I can sum transactions by. Now I can build my view interactively just by dragging dimensions onto my data grid and analyzing in real time. In this case, I've got bank transactions. If I wanted to view my transactions by, say, month, I just drag the month on, and here I see all of my transactions aggregated by month, so the amount for each month. And I can view this on a chart by pressing the charting button, and up appears the data. Now this is great, but I can drill into this view. If I wanted, for example, to see these 26 million transactions, each month broken down by its transaction type or category, I can just drag transaction category onto my data grid, and immediately all of my months are available for me to expand and view the transaction types by month as an immediate breakdown. Now that's great. Here I'm viewing each month broken down by transaction type. What I actually wanted to see was transaction types and how they've changed over month. So I can just drag and drop these to flip them around the other perspective. So I now see each transaction type broken down by month. Just make this a little wider. I can see the transaction types. Now on my chart at the right here, I can see that there is a skew of transactions which is removing some of the detail down here. Now the tooltip tells me these are cash transactions. Now I can click on this filter icon to remove these in real time. If I just type cash, hit return, I can untick the cash transactions, click apply, and immediately these 26 million transactions are filtered, so I don't see the cash transactions and they're removed from the grid. So I can see some of the lower value items are coming into view. Now I've got another skew here, grocery transactions. I can again do a multi-stage filter. I can type grocery, remove grocery transactions, and I can do this in multiple stages. So I can filter out the transactions I don't want, so I can really focus in on the things I want. Now filters don't need to just be ticking things on and off. I can also do expressions, or what we call conditional filters. If I right click the amount column here and choose a conditional filter, I can put in some expressions, and these can be simple or complex. In this case, I want to only see high value transactions, so I can say only show me transactions where the amount is greater than, say, 4,000. When I click apply, the filter is applied, all of the low value amounts will be removed, and my grid updates, and my chart updates too. Now I can also filter on dimensions that I'm not viewing. So if I wanted, for example, to only show certain days of the week, I can click on weekday, untick everything, and maybe only look at weekend transactions. So I can tick Friday, Saturday, Sunday, apply that, turn on my inactive dimensions, the chart updates, the grid updates. I'm now filtering. So I can do multiple stage transactions based on whatever attributes I want. Now if I open a new layer, we spot multiple layers in the product. I can have multiple layers going on. I can open another data set. This time we're going to look at some grocery store transactions. So basically customers going to supermarkets, buying baskets of goods, and we can see the transactions. So I've got 31 million transactions in this multisphere. If I drag this onto my data set, I can see again all of the dimensions up the top that I can group by, and all of the facts or measures that I can sum. Now if I do the same thing, I can drag month on. I'm expecting about 1.5 million of transactions per month. Straight away, I can see something is wrong. There's too many values. Now if I drag year onto this view, I can see here that I have multiple years worth of data. So if I only view by month name, I will see each month rolled up. So I can't do that. Now in this case, this is a classic case where I would need to go back to my data science or IT teams and get my data source refreshed. With Polymatica, I can add a new dimension, and in this case I'm going to create a period dimension, and I can build my own dimension in real time on my desktop. And I'm going to make this new dimension comprised of my existing year and month dimensions. Click apply. The new dimension for 31 million rows is immediately available. I can drag this onto my data grid and I can view my spending by this new dimension in real time. Now what I actually wanted to analyze here is to do some data discovery on profit, but I've only got in my data here spend and cost. I don't have a profit measure, but I can create one with Polymatica. If I click to add a new calculated measure, I give it a name of profit, and I can say the formula is the spend less the cost. And these formulas can be complex, they can have logical operators. If I apply that, my profit is available immediately to plot on the chart for each month. So I can, with Polymatica, I can not only create new dimensions to reshape my data, I can create new measures to discover new data insights. Now, as well as having data discovery and data insights in the product, we also have data science tools embedded. Now, if I open another data set, I have here a logistics data set with shipping type transactions. If I open this data, I can see here I have a number of measures down the bottom, a number of dimensions up the top. I'm going to turn off the things I'm not interested in, so all of my charges and other attributes I'm not interested. So I'm just looking at my delivery attempts, and if I wanted to analyze things by client, I might want to look at, say, profit. Now I don't have a profit measure here, so I'm going to do the same as I did last time and create a profit measure, which is based off the total charges less the cost. Apply that. I've got my profit. Now there are 3 different data science tools embedded in the product which I can use without being a data scientist and without needing to write any code, and they are segmentational clustering, where I can group or segment my data, in this case my clients, based on different attributes. We have association rules for finding patterns in product purchasing, and we have a forecasting module for predicting future performance based on past. Now in this case I want to segment my clients. If I'm looking at my clients by profit, I can just bring out my profit on a chart. Here we see the profit, and if I change to a bar chart, I can see immediately there are some problematic clients who have caused me to make a loss. Now I want to segment or group and cluster my clients by number of delivery attempts and profit. So I just highlight the measures I'm interested in. I've got my clients listed here. When I click the segmentation tool, what used to take days or weeks to do by a data scientist takes seconds for me to run. In real time, when I press this button, the segmentation algorithms run in the background. There are 3 of them. They run to calculate the optimal number of clusters, and it suggests 4 clusters. Now if I choose an alternative number of clusters, I can adjust this. I'll accept the default for now. When I click apply, my segments are displayed here. I'm just going to display the profit. I can see there are 4 segments: loss, low profit, medium profit and high profit. And if I drill into each of these segments, I can view the clients in here. Now this is interesting, but I want to do some more discovery on these segments, so I can start drilling down into maybe the service types that these clients bought from me. So if I drag service type onto my grid, I can then start digging down into the different service types, so I can analyze the clusters and the segments by deriving more insights. Now in this case I actually wanted some more fine-grained segments rather than just 4, so I can throw these segments away and I can repeat the process by reclustering. In this case I'll choose a different number of clusters, maybe 9. Click apply, the segmentation algorithm runs again, and here I have a much more fine-grained set of clusters, and I can really dig into my data. So Polymatica, we've seen at a very high level here, lets me answer questions, do data discovery and gain data insights all in real time in my web browser without me needing to write code or do database queries, and all without the delays usually caused by needing to go back to my IT or data science teams.